All right, I just got sent this from a contractor, a screenshot of a message from an adjuster on a Facebook group or a forum. He says that as an adjuster, I'm just there to do a job. Roofers, contractors, public adjusters are just going to get in my way. They honestly have no business even being on site while I'm doing my inspection. Like they are going to see something I don't or convince me of something. 5 years ago, you could talk with them and settle on site, but anymore, 90% of them are hacks that don't know policy or even what I'm looking for. The last time I talked to a contractor, I told him, you can finger that garage door all day, but I'm not calling that hail damage. No mas. I won't even talk to you during my inspection. If you want to record me, I'll tell the policyholder we need to reschedule. All right, there's a lot to unpack on this. Let's start at the top. Contractors, roofers, public adjusters have no business being on site during your inspection. That's not true. If a policyholder is hiring a contractor or a roofer, then they're hiring them to be the expert that's going to show you what is inappropriate or damage for that roof, but also what the proper repair scope would be. So unless you know more than a contractor knows on how to rebuild something, then of course they should be there. You're also saying that they're not going to see something that you don't or convince you of something. Are you so set in your ways that you know everything? Are you so egotistical that you think that you never miss anything? Look, be real with yourself. Everybody misses stuff. Everybody does. I miss things. Having somebody point something out that I missed is very useful and very beneficial to the policyholder. Public adjuster clearly has a right to be there. They represent the policyholder. If you're not going to do your job fully because there's somebody that's there, that's kind of a problem that's on your end. Somebody did something wrong to you or has been an issue for you to make you feel this way, but to be honest with you, I think you've got the wrong impression. You can work with the contractors and the roofers and the public adjusters to achieve the same goal. Will they be able to convince you of something? Depends. Will they never be able to convince you of something? There's a lot of things that you've been told that might not be true. There's a lot of policies that cover cosmetic damage still today. And a lot of times the adjusters are told that they don't. And unless you actually have the full policy and you've read through it yourself, then you don't know. Now I have a feeling that you're a staff adjuster, not an IA, because you said 5 years ago you could talk with them and settle on site. We are meeting mostly with ladder assists and IAs that don't have the authority to do that. The vast majority of claims where we're meeting an adjuster on site or a ladder assist, they don't have the authority to say yes to anything or even say that anything actually is or isn't damaged, and we're having to do with a desk adjuster. So we don't know we're going on site in order to be able to settle. And a contractor doesn't know they're going on site in being able to make an agreement on how much it would cost to do the roof. If you told them that up front, I bet you'd get a different result. Let them know, give them a call, say, hey, I'm going to go on site. I have authority to actually come to an agreement on site. Please send somebody out that has that ability. I bet you'll get them more often than not. But IAs just don't have it. And so we're not anticipating that. And so it's no wonder that you're not getting someone on site that can make that kind of a call. So that's not 100% on us or the contractors or the PAs. Last time I talked to a contractor, I told him, I'm not even going to comment on that, whatever. I won't even talk to you during my inspection. If you want to record me, I'll tell the policyholder we need to reschedule. If you're in a single party state, then you can't tell them that you're just going to leave at that point. They can record you whether you agree to it or not because you're on private property. There's no reasonable expectation of privacy at that point. Now, if you've got something to hide and you don't want to be recorded, I can see why you'd be nervous about it. But if you've got nothing to hide and it sounds like you think that you're better than the contractors and the PAs, so you don't think you have anything to hide, then why are you worried about it being recorded? Telling a policyholder you're going to come back another time because of that, it just creates animosity and it pushes the claim down the road and it makes you end up having to go back out to the site again too, so it doesn't even help you. And if the contractors or the PAs are trying to show something or they're being badgers with no pun intended, Steve, if they're being annoying with the kind of questions they ask with that recording, then that's one thing. All right, you can kindly ask them to stop asking pointed questions. Not talking to them, though, doesn't help the policyholder. And for you contractors and PAs that are meeting on site, don't be a dick. This is a person too. This is an adjuster. If you're out there to fight or to be a bulldog, don't go. We have to help them do their job in a way that helps the policyholder. We need to work together. Now, I know their hands are tied on a lot of things. They've been taught different things that might not be true. But the same goes for you. You've been taught things that might not be true too. It all comes down to being able to prove that a loss occurred that happened during the policy period, and that there is some kind of a way to bring that property back to a pre-loss condition. How much would that cost? If you can show up on site with that information, then you being there makes sense. If you're just going to show up on site to follow them around like a lost puppy, though, then you're going to have guys that are a little bit upset about it because you're not there adding value. So if you're going to go on site, be there ready to prove it. So that an adjuster like this can feel like that he's justified in meeting with you. You're not just a hack. And if you're this adjuster and you're watching this, understand that most contractors are people too. So as long as we teach them to treat you like a person, please treat them like a person. Saying that comment about the garage wasn't really nice, was it? Be nice to each other, guys. Work together. I hope that helps.